Another thing I want to talk about today is why traveling can sometimes be a form of running, and that true inner work and rewiring your habits actually happens best in environments that you've created as like a safe space for yourself to come home to. Now, granted, if you're in a very toxic situation that is making your nervous system go into haywire, I would definitely leave that situation. And so if you feel the urge to, move somewhere or change your situation so you can start to rewire yourself, follow your intuition on that. But for me personally, one of the things I've noticed about myself in the past is I had a desire to run. And I don't always even run necessarily just by traveling. I would run by just changing certain things up versus just sitting with myself. Even though I've done a lot of inner work, I still find that I do that. And so what I've learned with myself is that I have the gift of being able to see among distortion. And it doesn't matter where I travel, because everywhere in the world is usually separated from its true original state. There is some sort of distortion everywhere. And that follows me wherever I go. And so part of the path for me is realizing it doesn't matter where I am. It matters that I understand that every person I'm interacting with is a version of God, and that there is divinity in every single person. And when I approach life that way, then I can find joy and happiness in all things. And part of the rewiring happens that when we create habitual circumstances in our environment, it can start to feel really repetitive. And how we overcome that is recognizing that we don't need to change our environment to change our habits. We need to change our habits in our environment. Because when you go to a new environment, like you go and travel and you view it as vacation, you naturally sometimes create different habitual streams in your nervous system, but it's only there briefly for like a week or 2 weeks or however long you travel. And then when you come back to your home base, you tend to start to reenact the same habits from before. So true inner work occurs when you actually go deep enough to where you can rewire at a deep core level your habitual behavioral patterns and your awareness to align with a higher state that aligns with your soul, right? And this is something that you'll find that it doesn't matter where you are. It matters how are you approaching life in the moment? How do you believe you're acting in the moment, right? If you're waking up every day when you're at your home base and you create a routine, that's your ego's way of trying to stay in control and be predictable. But life is constantly trying to give you abundance. It's trying to give you new opportunities and beliefs about yourself. And so if you continually focus on staying rigid and controlling every single day you wake up in order to create some sort of structure to move throughout your day in the world, then you're blocking your ability to receive love and abundance from God. And so it's important that when you create habits that allow your nervous system to stay open to altering your day in whatever accordance God has for you, and altering your day to allow you to stay present in every single aspect of the day, and recognizing that the days of the week or the year or the months or the seasons are all made up by society, right? This is perfectly set up because it's like when you go to another country, right? Time changes, right? Time is made up, and it's not real. The only thing that is actually real is your state of awareness and how you perceive reality. And what you'll find is as you're doing inner work, the days typically flow together. Like you're kind of like, oh, it's already, Wednesday, or it's already been 2 weeks, because what's happening is your awareness of your perception of reality is shifting. This is the only thing that matters. Nothing else matters. And really going within yourself and asking yourself, why do you believe things that you do? And understanding that your baseline original state is anything is possible. Anything is possible for you, right? So if you have anything limiting that is attached to you that rejects this idea, you have to do deep inner work of understanding what is blocking you. And one of the things that I've been doing for myself is I've been verbalizing to God out loud to please bring anything in my awareness, through, interactions with other people that allow me to see where am I still blocking. So like one thing I've learned about myself is I've experienced a lot of things in the past few years that would mind blow a lot of people, like consistently, because I wasn't on drugs when I experienced it. And my nervous system has been reaching a point of acceptance. But it takes time, because there is this fear when you start to feel the power of God continuously and you interact with entities that are possessing people of a higher dimensional state, and you're sober while you're doing it, and they're always watching you, right? So there's this part of you that's like, is anyone else seeing what I'm seeing? Because then all these other people are acting small, or they're feeding distortion. And so part of this whole journey is getting your nervous system to understand that it's safe to kind of free fall and be held by these higher entities that are actually aligned with the higher good. Understanding that there are other entities in the game that are meant to kind of mess with you to see if you're going to believe the distortion, and they're perfectly set up that way. And when you view it that way, then they can't actually touch your field in a negative way, but they can mess with you. And it's, like I said, it's perfectly set up that way. So when you start to look at all of this, you're going to have things come into your field that show you how the game is set up. It'll show you why things are set up the way they are. And this whole part of it is getting you to believe that this is actually occurring. Because once you kind of tap into truth, your nervous system has a new frequency to latch onto, and then you just are basically going through your mind, allowing things to come up that go against that truth. And this is shown a lot in movies and TV shows, just how people write scripts, right? People can only write based off their conscious awareness. It's a perfect example is like season 3 of White Lotus, right? In White Lotus season 3, the ending message was like, this is just the karmic cycle and there's nothing you can do about it. That's actually completely false. But the person that wrote the script for White Lotus, that was his only level of understanding. And so sometimes when you go to these environments, you might not always have the answer, but if your intuition tells you this doesn't feel right, that gives you enough space to open up to receive higher truth of what actually does feel right. So start paying attention when you watch TV shows or movies where someone might be portraying love a specific way or something, and where it doesn't feel right in your system. And that's going to help guide you to understanding what is really you at your core. What do you actually want? Who are you really when you take away all of the beliefs that society told you is real about reality? That's not actually the highest truth and the highest form of love from God. This also happens just in your everyday interactions at work or with people. If you expect people to behave a specific way towards you, but you wouldn't behave that way towards them, you need to ask yourself, why do I think I deserve this if I'm not giving something back in return in terms of energy, right? If you think that, at work, people should be acting a specific way towards you and they're treating you with disdain, ask yourself, are you treating others with disdain? Like everything is mirror reflecting back to you. One of the things for me that I've become more aware of is I kept attracting people that needed saving. And I realized that I don't want to save anyone. I understand that everyone has access to God in the same capacity that I do, and they're choosing not to listen, whereas I'm choosing to listen. So by me attracting people continuously that were seeking to be saved, but then weren't ready to receive, I was lowering my frequency field. Now I've come to the state of awareness that I only want people that can meet me where I'm at or can help better me down the road. Now, attracting people that needed saving was bettering me because it allowed me to understand more aspects of myself of what I really want. But I have the ability to now change what I would like reality to send my way. And what you'll find is when your awareness shifts of what you actually want, reality will shift as well. And the types of people that come to you. So always pay attention, like you're the mirror. And so if you're mirroring and behaving a specific way with someone because their energy is pulling that to you and you don't like it, then ask yourself, why are you continually having them in your environment?